Shooting business video isn't difficult. I'm going to show you my pop-up studio strategy that will help you create great content in just 5 easy steps. Stay tuned. We're talking about shooting and capturing video content for your business today. But before we get started, make sure you like this video and subscribe to our channel. Shooting video is not complicated, and it doesn't require a large Hollywood studio like it used to. You don't need a whole bunch of people running cameras, lighting, microphones, setting up all this equipment. You already have most of what you need. With probably a couple of additional accessories, you can have your own full-fledged studio that fits in the palm of your hand. So take a listen to these 5 steps as you shoot your own video content. Now, the first thing you want to do in creating your content is set up your pop-up studio. Now, I know that sounds very fancy and complicated, but trust me, it's quite simple, and you can use a lot of what you have already. Start with your smartphone. You already have one that you use to do all kinds of video capabilities. Let's use it to create business content as well. From there, we're going to need a tripod. Basically, you need something to hold your camera steady as you record. If you can sit it and hold up the camera using a tripod or some other handheld device, then you can have a nice steady shot for your video content as you act as talent on the other end. The next thing you're going to need is a microphone. Now, I'm talking about a directional microphone, not a microphone like the one on your camera that gets the sound from all around you. If you get a directional microphone, like a lavalier or a boom microphone for your smartphone, you can get sound from one direction, and that direction is your subject. That way you block out a lot of the other noise and you get crystal clear sound. Now, you can get these very cheap to start off with and increase it as you start to progress. And last but not least, you want your subject to look well. Now, you can use things like natural lighting or sunlight to illuminate your subject, but you can also use studio lights as well. There are a lot of options, including this one that goes directly over your cell phone. It can clip right on while you're filming, and you can get 3 brightnesses of light. That way, as it sits on your tripod, your subject looks great and you can actually see it. Now, any combination of these things together will give you a nice solid base for creating your video content. The next thing you want to do is you want to decide your shooting strategy. Now, setting up your equipment doesn't have to take a long time, but it does take some time to get it right. Having the studio set up is a great opportunity to not only just shoot one video, but to shoot multiple videos at once. Whether you use the one video strategy or the multi-video strategy, the process is the same. You have some kind of script or outline that you follow, and the difference is when you have multiple titles to shoot at one time, you want to have multiple scripts or outlines as well. Make sure those are ready and you're ready to record those on camera. You're also going to want to have a change of clothing. Whether it's just a top or a full outfit change is needed, you want to make sure you have one for each topic. That gives the impression that you're doing different things on different days. It's all about being efficient here. And as you get better, doing multiple shoots at once will benefit you greatly. That way you don't have to break things down and set them up, wasting valuable time when you can just walk in the studio, set up, and press record. Here's where the video gets completed. I like to think of it in terms of Mortal Kombat. Coming through and just finishing the video that way. But we have 3 different ways we can do this. You can just skip the editing process altogether and then upload your video online. This is actually great for live video. If you're doing that, it will go directly online, or if you have a really great take that you just want to put out there without putting any bells or whistles on it. It's a great way to just get things up and going, to get video content flowing and circulating, but you don't have that much flexibility on what you put out there in terms of making mistakes or things like that. Editing gives you multiple options, and it doesn't have to go that deep. Whether you edit it yourself or an editor helps you along the way, you're going to want to have organization with your files. I'm going to show you my file setup. That way, no matter who does your editing, they're going to be set up for success. Editing yourself. You have various options. You can do it on your smartphone with various apps, or you can do it on your computer with a lot of different programs out there. Either way, you're gonna want to make a folder and have everything organized. I like to organize things into one main folder. Now the name of this folder will be the name of the project. So for something like this, it will be how to shoot business video. From there, we have subfolders, and I like to have at least 3 or 4 of those. The first one I make is a video or interview folder. Now this is where all the shots like this go, where the person is sitting in front of the camera, talking to the camera, or it's an interview setup where there's a person sitting off camera and the person on camera is answering questions. This will go in that folder so you know what to expect when you click on it and you want any footage from there. The next folder I want to have is a B-roll folder. Now, if you're doing any kind of interview setup, you're going to want to have what I like to call action shots. These are the things that illustrate what the person talks about. If you can get them from them picking up a phone, or walking around a parking lot, or sitting at their desk on the computer or on the phone. These are things that kind of show what the person is talking about on camera. And by using those illustrations visually, you can reinforce what the person is saying and multiply it by what the person is actually seeing on the screen at the same time. And when these things match, it's a great result because they're seeing it and they're hearing it, which reinforces the message. By having all your B-roll in one folder, they'll be in the perfect place when your editor needs them. The next thing I want to do is an audio folder. Now, audio could mean if you have an external microphone connected to an external recorder, and then you need to sync your audio and your video later, that would go into an audio folder. The other thing that would go into an audio folder is your music. If you're adding music along the editing process, you can store it in there. That way you know where to get it later. If there are any pictures that go into the project, that gets their own folder as well. There's not always pictures, but I always make a folder just in case. And then the last folder I like to have is a projects folder. Now I like to make my projects archived over time. That way I have more than one project file. I have multiple files that I can go to that are actually cataloged over time. And by that I mean, when you save a project, like a Word document, it makes a project file somewhere. I put all of those in my project file folder. Now, each time I save a new one, which is each day I work on a project, I will give it a new name. So I'll add another digit to it. So the first day, I'll start with a 1, second day, put a 2 at the end, and so forth. That way I have a catalog of files that I can go back to at any point in time and see whatever I need to see. Whether you're editing yourself or you're working with an editor, this is a perfect setup because everything is there, it's accessible, and everyone knows where it is. And with file share services, you're able to work with editors that are far away from you. You can actually send information, which includes large video files, online, have those files sent over, and that way the person can jump right in and get started. Getting your video content shot isn't the difficult part, especially when you have a pop-up studio that can literally fit in your hand. When you start with the smartphone as your camera, you add a microphone, some lighting, and a tripod that can fit into your hand, you have the ability to create great things. And with the opportunity to move around, you have the great ability to create B-roll shots on the move as well. So whether you're recording one video at a time or you're getting multiple videos shot in one sitting, make sure you organize all your footage in the right place. That way you have a smooth transition into post-production.
And that way you can work with somebody who's not even in the same room as you.
Get your studio set up, create great content, and again, it's not that complicated, it's not that expensive, and it's not even that big. It's really easy to get set up, make your content, it's all up here for you. Create it, it's in your mind, put it out into the world and solidify who you are as a business person in a way that's real. Make it online, all right? See you soon.